This episode of Cognitive Dissonance is brought to you by our patrons. You fucking rock.
Hey guys, Glory Holes, Reverend Jesus here. Hey, I was just wondering, it really strikes me as super fucking odd that all these evangelicals are getting up in arms about Pokemon Go. What the fuck? You guys have been trying to figure out how to get kids to come to your fucking churches for decades, for probably the entire time that your churches have existed, and somebody put these things in your churches that are attracting people, and you're bitching because it's not the right fucking people and they're not interested in the bullshit you're selling. Fuck y'all. Anyway, Glory Hole, y'all have a good one.
Hey, Cecil and Tom, this is Ben from Montana. I have to listen to your last episode about the police shootings and their response when they have any kind of incident, assuming people have guns. It reminded me of Montana had this wonderful law passed in 2009 called the Montana Firearms Freedom Act. But I actually had a friend sitting on the legislative board at the time, and they had proposed another gun law that would basically allow people to brandish a firearm if they felt threatened, even to a police officer. Thankfully, clear heads prevailed, and that one was shot down, or else people would be getting shot all the time at traffic stops, especially since Montana has one of the highest gun ownership rates in the country. I already know police officers that say that every stop they make, they assume the person has a gun and is likely to use it. So it's not just a theory, it's actually a credible threat to a lot of these officers, and it definitely changes the situation for them. Anyways, Glory Hole, and you guys ever want to read some crazy gun laws, check out Montana. We're fucking nuts. And yeah, I like guns. So anyways, Glory Hole guys, make it really work. Bye.
Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago, this is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast everyone who gets in our way. I had a total...
Jesus, dude. Holy shit.
I fucking had an Alex Jones style break freeze.
Oh my God, you're just like, what's the next line?
I looked around you're looking, where am I?
You're looking at the stage guy on the side. Line!
I've only done this 307 times. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and forgetfulness to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome at. This is episode 307 of Cognitive Dissonance. And I know that because I remembered it as we were talking. I can't believe my brain was just, it was one of those moments you're just like, we have experienced total shutdown. And you're like, wait a minute. No, I need to know, where am I? Who are you?
Your brain will be shut down for 10
seconds, right? Well, I don't even know what happened there. I think I had a mini stroke. I mean, it's not the first one today, but it's the bigger one that
And the thing is
the left side of my face slouchy?
Not more than normal.
No, I mean, how would you tell, right? Like, the jowls are just
kind of slouchy,
right? You can fucking tuck money in the jowls like a stripper with a G-string.
You need a structural engineer for the cheeks just to keep them up. No, it's not even like a normal where you lose your train of thought in the middle of a sentence,
no,
and then you start,
really
and then you can use filler words and just say it's all about the coaching or something.
You're all sick.
Oh, be nice.
Oh, my son doesn't stand a chance. The whole world's gone gay. Oh my God, what's happening now?
We work hard. We play hard.
So, Cecil, this first story comes from PolitiFact.com. I know, everybody. It's not from the Raw story or from Right Wing Watch. Relax. GOP chair wrongly claims facts show children do better with straight parents. Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus.
He looks like Mr. Bean.
He's uglier than that.
Okay.
He's weird.
No,
He's
that's
got,
fair.
you know,
That's fair.
This is a man this is like one of those skinny guys who still has a second chin. You know? Like, look at him.
It's like a Tom Hanks face.
Right. You're like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
you're not even fat. And your chin's just like, hey, man,
Like,
what about if I brought a friend?
Like, why do you look like a pug? Like,
It's
why
like,
is that?
What? And he's got that like fucking squinty-eyed, fucking, you know, flaccid face. Like his fucking face couldn't even get hard. You know? Like, this is a guy, his wife's just like, I don't know, just fucking put your finger under it or something. I can't. Doesn't work out. Just, I don't know. Tell me when you're done. Like,
tie this real tight around your cock.
right? Exactly. It's just like, I don't know, shake it in. I'm not sure how this thing works.
Dude.
Look, I'm just in it for the money.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
It's probably true. So one of the things that they talk about in this article is talking about this guy specifically saying that the same-sex marriage, essentially the data lead to an inescapable conclusion that every child deserves a married mom and dad. So they can't argue against whether or not gays can get married anymore. So
Right.
you can't do that.
That ship has
That
sailed.
ship's sailed.
Right.
The general public, for the most part, is looking at gay relationships and shrugging their shoulders. For the most part,
Yes.
most people are saying that. So they don't have a morality leg to stand on really anymore. They have a biblical leg, I guess. If you're kind of a thumper, you still, and you really want to.
But you're in the minority at this point.
You are in
right?
the minority, right?
Yeah.
So the next tactic is to try to show that it's harmful, right? So you can't show that it's immoral because nobody cares. You can't show that it's illegal because it's not. So now we're doing it's
bad for kids.
It's bad for kids. It's a hurtful. Now it's just bad and it's gonna endanger someone else.
Right. But you know what's so fucked up about that argument is like, it's a thing that's fucked up about the morality argument with respect to gay marriage, like, and even the Bible and everything else. It's like everybody and fucking nobody bitches about the availability of divorce.
No.
Right. And the Bible's like not unclear about divorce. The Bible's
Sure.
like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
And the research actually is terribly clear about divorce. It's like, it's not super good for kids. Like, not real good. But everybody wants that fucking option.
Sure.
Right? Because at some point you roll over and fucking look at your spouse. You're like, fucking, hey, can I get a do-over? Mulligan, right? Like, everybody wants that. I'm a monster. But so many people are like, even if you're fucking married, you're like, I want my options open. This idea that like, well, we shouldn't allow gay people to be gay. You can't fucking stop them.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're going to fucking write some fucking words on a piece of paper in the right order that makes somebody have their dick gets hard when they look at a different gender. I can't even imagine what series of words you write in the right order on a piece of paper. And I'm like, well, now I'm fucking dudes make me fucking hard. Like, that's not a thing. Maybe it's not a thing.
Maybe it's figures in a dollar amount.
Hard-ish.
I like your indecent proposal.
Right? Like, if I close my eyes, I'm going to close my eyes and think of the queen. Here we go.
He also says, the best scenario for kids is a loving mom and dad. However, it doesn't mean that all single parents or same-sex parents, that doesn't mean that all single parents or same-sex parents, that any parent in America can't love a child, can't raise a child. It's that a child can't be successful and loved. It doesn't mean that. It just means what the facts say.
And he's wrong about the facts.
He's wrong about the facts. But then also, aren't you pissing on all the single parents out there?
Yeah.
All that? I mean, but this is the party of like fucking, I want to be in your bedroom. So the single parents, of course, you guys are all fucking monsters, right, in their eyes. I can't imagine them looking at those.
They're right a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I know from personal experience, they're right with 100% frequency in my experience.
So those people, they don't care about those people at all.
Right.
Those people are voting. Those people hate themselves if they're a fucking Republican, right? I mean,
I don't even know how you do that. How could you be a single parent? It's like those log cabin Republicans. It's like, yeah, I'm fucking gay, but I'm a Republican. Like, fucking did you not read?
yeah,
What are you kidding?
You've got to just be a guy who doesn't give a fuck about social issues. That's the only way that I think that works.
You know, let's talk about that. I know this is derailing for a second, but can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
I don't understand how economic issues can ever outweigh social issues. Because the overriding message there then is money is more important than people. Am I missing that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do it either, but I think that's how they logically get behind it in their own way.
I think so too, but like, doesn't that make you a dickhead?
Well, I think it makes you a reductionist in a huge way.
But aren't you incredibly selfish? Like, I make an okay dollar, like, but I'm not there's no way that I'm going to vote. I would vote against my better financial interests as long as it coincides with my ethical and social interests.
I do every time.
Right?
I vote against my best financial interests every single time I vote.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, maybe this other person, I'd get to keep more of my money, but I still have to wake up and look at myself in the mirror when I shave.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. So like, so aren't you in a position where you're saying like money is more important than other people's like happiness and their ability to seek joy? I honestly, I'm asking that question honestly. Like,
I don't know.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't know how you reject those things. I understand that they can be important to you.
Yeah, look, money's not unimportant.
And I
it's
think,
the only reason I wake up and go to work.
And I do think that there's something to be said about a secure financial future for not just me but many other people.
Yes,
will bring the social strata up and help a great deal of people, because money can help a great deal of people.
Sure.
So I feel like if somebody is voting particularly on those particular things, then I think that there is that maybe they're thinking of it they're just approaching it in a different way. They do care about social issues, but they don't care about them in the sense that they want to legislate on social issues. Instead, they just want to make sure that everybody has enough money to be comfortable. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess it does, but it's like. But the other side of that is like, if I vote Republican, I'm not making sure that everybody has enough money.
I know.
You're making sure I have enough
Sure,
money,
I know,
right?
but like,
because you're voting against welfare programs.
Yeah.
I struggle with this.
I tend to think that a lot of people don't understand what their party is really for too. Like I think that there are a lot of really like straight up single issue voters out there. There's probably many people that abortion is the only thing that they pay attention to. They don't give a fuck.
So do you
about
think taxes are something
else.
that like it's all somebody votes on is taxes?
Taxes. Somebody only votes on immigration. Somebody only votes on whatever.
Those people are just assholes though. Does that make you an asshole? Like,
I don't know.
Like there's a whole world full of people. There's 370 million people in the United States whose needs all have to be considered. And if the only thing that you're worried about
is abortion, is
one fucking thing, isn't that view of the world so ridiculously myopic that like it's a dickhead way to look at the world? I mean, I'm not even trying to be facetious. Like, is that a fair way? Is that an intellectually honest or ethical way to look at the world?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It doesn't seem like it.
Answer to the question. I don't know. I feel like if you're that type of person, you're probably pretty fucking invested in it, though. You know what I mean? So these are the type of people who are like fucking standing outside of Planned Parenthood every Saturday morning.
Sure.
These are the type of people. I mean, so they're probably so
I know what you mean.
Invested
like
in it that
it's a defining feature of their life.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's one thing that they're doing all the time. I don't know how you get that invested in taxes or tax dollars.
Dude, I can't get that invested in anything. Like I can't get invested like that in anything.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. I mean, I personally myself have a broad range of things that I pay attention to.
Right.
From foreign policy to military spending to social issues to people who are in need, things like that. All that stuff makes the
It all goes in the bucket, right? And you swirl it around, you see kind of where it comes out.
And when I look in it, it looks like Trump.
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. I think.
Yeah, why are you
Trump? I'm totally voting for Trump.
You are not voting for Trump.
Oh man, I saw when he picked Pence. That really
is what clinched it for you.
That changed my mind. Yeah.
When the monster picked a bigger monster.
Pence. Trump. Pence.
Let's talk about that too. Like, because you and I were talking before the show about Trump's desire to delegate.
Yeah.
Let's say. As somebody in management, I am sympathetic to the desire to manage.
You're pro delegation.
I delegate all my work.
Sure, I understand.
And I walk around and I'm just like, how's that project coming? What was it again? Doing good? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that affects my incentive. So, and I go walk around. No, I'm a terrible person, but like I understand the desire to delegate, right? Like you can't possibly do every single thing yourself, but like Trump said that he is going to have his VP be in charge of domestic policy
and foreign policy.
At
least that's what Kasic's guy
Those are both
says.
of the policy.
Yeah. That's the thing, though. Like, I mean,
I'll be in charge of the moon policy.
What we're hearing is the statement from Kasich, right? So Kasich was approached. His staffer was approached by Donald Trump Jr. or something, and then he essentially said, "You would be in charge of these two things." Now, that's what we're hearing from these things. So I don't know if it's true, but if true, he's essentially saying, "Just be president, and I'll watch."
Right?
Yeah. What's funny to me is all the fucking Trump fucks out there like to use the word cuckold a lot. And I cannot think of a more cuckold fucking presidency than you watching someone else run your country.
Right.
They might as well fucking mount Ivanka or whatever the fuck that woman's name is. Malaria or whatever that woman's name is. They might as well fuck her right in front of you on the Oval desk.
And while we're talking about that, it is impossible not to talk about the speech.
Sure. Yeah.
The speech was amazing.
The speech is funny. I think
the speech is so funny.
I will say this. Thomas Smith had a funny tweet about it, basically saying, it must be really hard to write in original platitudes. because it's true, right? Every single goddamn speech. I listen to Michelle's original one, and I'm like, fucking jerk me off some more, whatever. You know, like all this fucking, what drives me crazy about that is both of them seem to talk about like how we need to instill values. Like, you're the president, you're not instilling anything. Fix the country or make it work, but shut the fuck up about instilling fucking values. That isn't your job. It's not your fucking, you're not hired for that. I didn't hire fucking Michelle to be a tutor to my kids. I hired her so that I hired her husband, not her. I hired her so she could tell kids they're too fat. I hired her husband to run the fucking country. Right. Make sure there's fucking, everything's fucking going well.
Chicken in every pot.
I don't give a fuck. Fucking values are not your response of fucking ability. And that's that. What makes me mad is both of those speeches are talking about my parents did this, I'd like to do. Fuck off.
To be fair, they're the same speech, so we don't have to talk about both of the speeches.
That's true. We don't.
They are one speech.
They don't. My favorite part is that she throws an homage to fucking Rick Ashley in there. That's my favorite part.
What?
You didn't hear this?
No.
He will never ever give up. And most importantly, he will never ever let you down.
Yes!
Is that amazing?
That's amazing.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
That is fucking beautiful.
That's my favorite.
That is just beautiful.
Not only are we, plagiarizing from one source, we might as well
but then she rickrolled her own speech.
Jesus. I mean, this is C.J. Werleman level plagiarism.
That's not that crazy. This is Jonah Lehrer plagiarism. This is not Werleman style. Come on now. Outrageous, good sir. Outrageous.
So yeah.
She rickrolled her own speech.
I know she rickrolled her own speach.
Who does that?
She does.
God damn.
Also, she sounds so fucking foreign. It's ridiculous. She sounds like fucking Belky. You know what I mean? Fucking ridiculous. God damn. This is a guy
A vote for Trump is a vote for perfect strangers.
This is a guy who hates immigrants. I don't even understand.
No, he only hates brown immigrants.
He's like a conundrum and a fucking riddle and a fucking enigma.
Hot Eastern European immigrants. Are you kidding me? It's just like she does butt stuff. Like she's in. Like it's fine.
She looks like a cat. Like she's had so much she has had so much plastic surgery. Like she's starting to like stretch.
She does have that pinned in the back, like there's binder clips in the back.
Yeah.
Like you reach to the back of her head, there's like fucking binder clips back there. You like let one go, it's like a slingshot. Her eyes go flying across the room.
She empties her nose. It's like ba-dunk. That's how she sneezes. She just unclips that thing back there and just.
There is a certain level of like Botox and plastic surgery where you're just like, you barely look human. you're like, I mean, I'd still fuck you, but like you look real weird. Like I'm gonna have to think about somebody else.
Yeah. In order to fucking talk to you, I gotta fucking put my hands in a V and say live long and prosper. You know? The fuck.
That chick is a fucking. I walked into the office today. I'd woken up this morning and I checked my mail. I checked Facebook and other things, and I saw a whole bunch of those videos comparing the Obama speech and the fucking Trump speech, and they're not a little close.
No, but did you see the Trump thing that came out though today?
No.
So supposedly this was written an apology letter by one of the staffers who wrote the thing. Essentially, he asked Ivanka or whatever. What is her name? Melania or whatever the fuck her name is.
I love that you just keep calling her a totally different name.
That's like a different.
You're like, I like calling her a vodka.
But I think that's one of his other wives.
That's one of his wives.
One of his wives. Who gives a fuck? Wife number 7.
Just call her 3.
Fuck.
Just call her 3.
This woman said to the speechwriter, "Hey, he asked her what's inspiring, what's good, what's inspiring. I'll help
Michelle
you work."
Obama's speech,
and she said, "I really liked Michelle Obama's speech," and and he said, "Well, what parts? What was the things?" And she quoted it verbatim, and then he used those verbatim quotes directly in there. He didn't alter it or change it. He didn't take the ideas. He just went boom and just threw it direct. That's what they put out as a press release today. So that's their explanation, is that the staffer heard from her that it was. But the one thing that puzzles me about that is, did she not read it in preparation? Because then she could have just looked at him and said, "Hey, this is directly from his speech."
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's why I'm giving you this look, right?
But it's either a cover up by theirs so she can feel better about herself, or it's truthful and it's just a total fuck up or whatever.
It's just another. I mean, honestly, Cecil, I still feel like he's just fucking with us. I'm just gonna have my wife read Obama's wife's speech. There's a point where it's like there's nothing I can't do. There's nothing. There is gonna come a point where he gets fucking sworn in without pants. Like, he's just gonna be like, he's gonna put his dick on that fucking Bible, and he's gonna take his little tiny little fingers.
You won't even be able to see it though. It'll be like a tan little shriveled cocktail
It's like
wiener.
a tiny little shrimp. Like, he's just straight fucking with us.
Well, we'll see. He is now no longer the presumptive nominee. So
I can't. I'm gonna puke.
President Trump.
Fuck you.
I think I'm going to vote for him just to piss that lady off in New York. I think that's going to be my. What does it matter in Illinois? I could vote for him. It's not a big deal. Come on, let me vote for him.
No,
I'm going to vote for him and take a picture of it.
No, I am not friends with anybody that fucking votes for Trump. Dead to me.
The thing is,
dead to me.
You can't do that to me.
I can't. You're actually right.
I get to do this, and you're fucked. You're basically fucked. You have to take it. You have to take it. Yeah, this is good. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to text it to you.
Oh, God, I'll fucking be super impotently angry about it.
Day is going to be the best of the days.
Fuck you. How about that?
I'm going to take I'm going to take a little bit of my hair in there and put it on the ballot and take a picture of it. It's going to be awesome. Pubic hair.
Yeah. I know what hair. I know what hair, good sir. How about a little manscaping? It's just polite. Everybody deserves a clean work surface.
I bought a beard trimmer the other day, and it's one of those walls, WAHL, whatever. And I told my wife, I said, when I finally do a little manscaping down there, I'm gonna have to put the balls to the wall.
Very nice. I like that. It's like when I finally get around.
When I finally get
around to grooming myself like a proper human.
The thing is that I actually have to get in there with hedge trimmers first. True. So, it's a process. When you start to cut down, you don't just go in there with the weed whacker. You got to go in there with the...
Right.
First, you have to go in there with the backhoe.
Look,
then you have to go...
Jesus, man. What is fucking happening over there?
I'm Italian. What do you want?
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
This story is from iNews, the essential daily briefing. Saudi woman denied Caesarean because husband not present.
Fucking. That's not the only thing.
It's not the only thing. This story is a fucking horror show about what it's like to be a woman in Saudi Arabia. Here, spoiler alert, it's the worst thing ever. You can't do a fucking anything. This woman's like, I'd like to go and get a cup of coffee. No, you can't go get a cup of coffee. You got to send somebody out to get a coffee while you fucking...
Got to get a driver to take you to it.
It's just like, this is a horror show. You want to talk about like what's wrong with having a society built on religious principles, having a society that's built on a book of laws written 2,000 fucking years ago or 1,400 years ago by a fucking militant warrior asshole, fucking probably with fucking epilepsy. This is what's fucking wrong.
This is it.
This is exactly what's wrong.
Absolutely.
This is not a cultural issue.
Yeah.
Unless the cultural issue is you've ruined your culture.
Yeah. And it's based specifically off the fucking, the bullshit patriarchy shit that is in that book.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're pulling from a fucking source here. They're not just fucking pulling this out of fucking thin air. They're pulling from a source. And one of the things that was so appalling about this, there's a lot that's appalling in this article. There's a bunch of people giving examples of what happens.
It's so terrible.
They can't travel abroad to study. They can't, they can't go down, like you said, they can't go down the street. But one of the most appalling ones is, this is a 62-year-old retired university lecturer. My son is my guardian, believe it or not. This is really humiliating. My own son, the one I delivered, the one I raised, he is my guardian. So essentially, these guardians are appointed. No matter what, if you're a woman, you have to have a guardian. You just have to have somebody who looks out for you. And they can't leave the house. They can't drive. They can't. There's all this shit they can't do.
Right.
They can't leave without their permission. They can't leave the country without their permission. And you're essentially like a fucking slave to this person because they decide, just like if you were a guardian of a kid here, they couldn't travel without your permission. It's the same thing here.
I'm glad you said that because one thing that struck me again and again is this idea of a guardian. When you think of the idea of a guardian, you think of a power dynamic, right? Like at least I do. I think of a guardian. I think of a power dynamic. I think I am the guardian of my children, right? Yeah. My children are under my guardianship. And people who are disabled or, otherwise need help, they can come under your guardianship. Women are not a class of citizen. Well, clearly in Saudi Arabia, they're fucking citizens.
They're second, so far down.
But this is a straight ownership relationship.
Sure.
And the use of the word guardian is kind of offensive.
It is.
Because what does a guardian do? A guardian looks out for the best interests of somebody else. Fucking women, like 51% of the human population, I think they got that shit.
Yeah, but I think just to play devil's advocate.
This is going to be good.
There are guardians of the galaxy.
I knew something was coming. I mean, seriously, like in Saudi Arabia, like it's so ridiculous. Like the line of succession could honestly pass to a raccoon before a woman would actually have some autonomy.
Or an animate tree.
Right.
Yes.
It's like at some point, it's like, well, we're out of husbands and brothers and uncles and even your own son.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not all those.
I don't know. Make a fucking possum in charge of this human being.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a snowman.
In Saudi Arabia? A sandman?
Well, you make a snowman. You just have to make one every day.
It's the saddest snowman.
Well, did you ask the snowman?
Yeah, right. Like, can I go outside? What does the snowman say?
What does Mr. Snowman say?
Well, he's very quiet about. Then I would take that as tacit disapproval. It's just fucking awful. The only other thing I want to say, Cecil, is that from this article it says the laws have improved after calls from women's rights activists. Domestic abuse is now illegal.
Oh,
what? That's an improvement. And it also says women no longer need permission from their guardian to go to work. Oh, you're allowed. So here's the big progressive change. Hey, can I go to work and make money and then bring it home where you're probably in charge of the money?
Yeah, where are you? I have to get your fucking approval if I want to spend something.
Right? I can't go to Starbucks, but I can work at Starbucks.
Isn't that's insane? That's the improvement too.
That's better.
Jeez.
That's better.
Last year we were able to roll over women's necks with our cars. Now we just get to strangle them.
I know.
Well, speaking of strangling,
oh Jesus Christ!
Let's move on to the next story.
Oh my God! Why? No, we've never had a segue that has worked well that way. Oh, this is terrible.
I would say no one has ever had a segue.
This is from CNN. Brother of Pakistanis Qandeel Baloch. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that.
That's perfect. That's it.
So bad.
That is it.
Sorry.
Nailed it.
I'm proud of strangling my sister. Says monster.
What a degenerate to say, like, I'm proud of this. This is and it's an honor thing, right? This is the honor killing. This is no place other than religion, right? This is the only thing. And he killed her specifically because she took a picture with the fucking Grand Mufti or whatever the fuck the guy was and posted it. And that guy got questioned because he was with a woman. I don't know what the fuck happened. But in any case, there's a picture that gets taken. It gets posted. That guy gets questioned or taken down off of his fucking like altar or whatever they do, put him in his fucking big robes or something. They took him down of his robes. And then this guy got super pissed. His fucking sister's there, drugs her, and then fucking chokes her to death.
And then he's just like, yeah, it's what you do. He's like, I'm proud of it. She was bringing dishonor to my family. I can't even imagine, like, she took pictures. Fucking pictures. You're a murderer. And your family's like, yeah, we're on the side of the murderer. I mean, that's really what he's saying here. Is like, one of these actions brings dishonor to my family.
But it's not murder.
But it's not murder?
But it's not murder.
You know, like, if somebody in my family is found guilty of murdering people, it's like, fucking, that's a super big dishonor to my family. If there's anything called honor.
Yeah.
If that's even a fucking thing. Right? If my family name has something to besmirch, I feel like you could besmirch the ever-loving shit out of it with murder.
You would think murder would be the thing.
That's the biggest besmirching tool.
It really is. Like there's no better way. You know, there's no worse crime. There's no. I mean, it's the thing. It is the thing.
Right. It's like if you had fucking, you know, honor shop fucking 3.1 or something, and you're like, I gotta grab the besmirching tool, and you're like besmirching across the screen. It's the murder tool. That's what you use.
Yeah.
Here we go. AK-47, the very best there is. When you absolutely, positively got to kill every motherfucker in the room, except no substitutes.
Fucking this dude, this is from the Raw story. Man, I will say this. I have been avoiding talking about this guy for a long time. I very rarely grab a story from this Joshua Feurenstein or whatever the fuck he is, because he's a fucking, he's just a provocateur.
Sure.
Like, all he does is he finds whatever the controversy of the day is, and then he fucking weighs in with his stupid backward baseball cap fucking idiot nonsense, driving in his car with his fucking YouTube videos.
Sure.
The guy's a fucking tool of a fucking tool.
This guy is essentially the Fred Durst of Christianity.
He is worse than that. and that is that is so bad. Let me tell you a Fred Durst story. Fred Durst is the Limp Bizkit dude.
Yeah.
When I was in college, this dates me a little bit, but when I was in college, I went to a Korn show. And Limp Bizkit was a nothing band that opened for Korn. They opened for the band that opened for Korn, right?
Okay, yeah.
So they were nothing, and they were nobody. Yeah. And we were in the fucking crowd, and we're all fucking moshing and behaving like dicks. And fucking Limp Bizkit comes out, and they fucking play their amazingly terrible music. Mm-hmm. It was the worst thing I ever heard. It was like fucking glass breaking and cats being tortured. It was fucking. It was a little worse than that. It was fucking.
Yeah, sure.
It's like it's the sound of your fucking mom getting raped with a guitar. That's
it's the sound of someone strangling the life out of somebody who's saying sedated.
Right.
It's like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And fucking the fucking limp guy.
Not Biscuit. We're talking about Limp.
Limp
it was Limp.
Limp Durst or whatever. Yeah. You know, he gets out there and he fucking throws his fucking cassette tapes, his demo tapes into the crowd.
Sure, yeah.
And I caught one. And I was shocked because I've never caught anything before or since.
You're terrible at catching things.
I think I caught it like just reflexively. My brain was like, catch it, whoa. And I was like, holy shit, I caught a thing. I've never caught a thing ever. And I put it in my pocket. I got in my car on the way home from the show. Mm-hmm. I put it in my fucking car. Listen to about 10 seconds of it. I still remember where I was. I was driving home from Chicago, and I was like, "Wow!" I ejected it, threw it out the window. I just chucked it right out the window. Like, that's the worst. And I was so proud of it. It's the only thing to date I have ever caught. I should have kept it just for that reason.
Yeah. You should have bronzed it.
That guy sucks that bad. Mm-hmm. And this guy's worse. This guy is worse than that. This guy couldn't be a fucking bigger douche if he was hanging out of a fucking pussy stinking like salad dressing.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to play Joshua Feurenstein.
Hey guys, Josh Feurenstein here. You guys remember when we used to put on those silly little uniforms, Batman and Superman, and we used to run around and pretend like we were superheroes? Well, guess what? They were comic book characters. But today there's men and women who put on a uniform every single day, and they're real superheroes. They're running into the midst of situations that have nothing to do with them, and they're taking care of business on your behalf. Every time you're in danger, every time someone pulls a gun on you or does something to you, they're willing to defend you, and they're called police officers.
Just shoot the fucking thin blue line all over my eyes if you can. Just fucking, you can come in my eyes. I'll just hold them
open, right?
I'll hold them open, and you can just ejaculate in my face. God, how pathetic is that? Jesus Christ, dude. I'm embarrassed for you. And that's hard to do because I hate you.
The back of this guy's throat is bruised.
Oh, God,
Like that fucking little dangly thing in the back of his throat.
You know, it's
covered in semen.
He's actually missing a patch of hair from the back of his head. That's how fucking, that's how
hard he's been face fucked.
Deep,
right?
Yeah.
We got people out there today shooting heroes, killing heroes. Again today, what, 7 more? 7 more police officers shot, potentially 3 dead? Really, guys? Are you really killing heroes? You want to know what the problem is? Is that we have this movement in America that is absolutely degrading the lives of good police officers.
Is he talking about Black Lives Matter?
I think he's talking about Black Lives Matter here, but he's not going to say it.
He's not going to say it.
Because he's a fucking coward.
And you see, I was raised in a home where we respected police. In fact, I had a little police uniform. I dressed up. I played like I was a cop. Why? Because I was taught that cops were heroes.
Well, that's the fucking wrong thing to teach. I would never teach anybody that cops are heroes.
Cops have a job.
That's a job person.
They're people with
that's
jobs.
A person job. Yeah.
Right.
That's not a...
It's a dude or a lady who wakes up in the morning and goes to work and they have a job, and sometimes that job is hard and sometimes it's not as hard. And that's how jobs work. And they made a fucking conscious decision about what their job looked like, what the dangers of that job were, what that job entails, and what the risk and reward benefit of that works like. They're not fucking heroes.
Yeah.
They're people with work, and they're people with jobs.
It's not to say that you couldn't be a hero and be a police officer.
You could be heroic as a police officer for sure.
And actually, to be honest, there's probably a much better chance to be heroic as a police officer than there would be for... Same thing for firefighters, et cetera. You know, like...
There's a 0% chance of me doing anything heroic.
Yeah, me too. Like, fucking at my work, I am doing 0 heroic things a day. And the chances of me doing a heroic thing during the day, unless some outside force acted upon my work, is 0. It's always 0. To say they're all de facto heroes also puts them on a position that, you know, they could abuse their power.
And means we can't criticize, right? And we can't be critical.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've always been, you know, I'm on the opposite side of this guy. I've always been wary of the police.
Today, we got kids that are growing up in these different homes.
Different homes. Huh. They're growing up.
He means black
homes.
They're
growing up in different homes.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. Might be right for you.
May not be right for some.
Man of means.
Then along come 2.
They're both black.
Different strokes it takes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they grew up in different homes. It takes different homes to move the world.
Where the kids, where the parents are not respecting police, they're cussing them out, calling them pigs, telling kids not to trust them. That's the problem.
No. Here's the thing. I didn't trust police. I still don't trust most police officers. I'm not a threat to fucking society. I think a lot of people, there's a fucking, what about that lawyer that fucking talks about how never talk to the police? There's a motherfucker who doesn't talk to the police. That dude's an upstanding citizen.
The dude who taught our concealed carry class, who was a former cop, his advice was, don't talk to the cops.
Right.
That was his actual advice. Yeah. He was a cop for 10 years. He's like, I wouldn't talk. If something ever happens, get a lawyer.
Yeah.
We're fostering a generation of people who no longer have respect for authority. It's a godless and a disgusting generation.
Yeah, that's fucking every generation has ever said that since the beginning of time.
It's so boring.
Look, I'm calling on every American citizen. I love Jesus.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Was that an interjection?
I don't even understand how that works. I'm calling on every American citizen, I love Jesus.
I love Jesus.
I'm calling on every American citizen, I love deep dish.
I love Jesus. I'm a preacher, but you know what? I also carry an FN57 filled with 20 rounds of pure brutality right there.
Because Jesus would have definitely carried an armor-piercing sidearm. Jesus just needs hand-piercing sidearms.
I know,
and foot.
And pretty much any bullet will do that.
That's it.
That's not an issue.
Look, I may love Jesus, but if I see you pull a gun on an officer, you want to know whose side I'm on? That's right. I'm going to fill you with 60 rounds of pure lead.
60?
60. So he's fucking, you've shot me 20 times with a fucking, basically like an anti-aircraft weapon.
And then you've taken the clip out, reloaded it.
I've done it again.
And then
done it again.
In the midst of all that, you've decided that's not enough.
Right?
I'm going to do it again.
This is some of that fucking internet warrior shit, right?
This is what we were talking about the other day when we did that show. We're talking about, like, these are people who want something like this to happen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The police never need this guy's help for anything unless they fucking maybe ordered an extra chalupa. Like, that's the only way they would ever need this guy's help. Like, they don't need your help. They don't need you to fucking be like, citizens arrest. They don't need that. They don't need you backing them up and standing behind them with your gun. They're probably more nervous that way.
I can't even imagine. Can you imagine a scenario where there's a fucking shootout with the police and some dude, and you're just like, hang on a minute, let me get out my gun as a random citizen. This cop would be like, you're not making me any safer. You're fucking some untrained, backwards baseball cap wearing fucking internet pastor with a fucking hand cannon.
It doesn't matter.
I don't feel any more comfortable.
That's not even it, though. If I heard a gunshot and I was that police officer, I'd just shoot at that guy too. I was talking to a cop. Again, this cop lives in Canada, but he was saying, if there's ever an active shooter situation and I get called to it and somebody has a gun, I'm not going to ask which side they're on.
Right.
Like, you're not going to spend the time to be like, wait, put your gun, whose side are you on? Like,
that's why I wear a shirt that says good guy.
Yeah, no, that's what, yeah.
And then
he has one of those on.
Oh,
yeah.
well
No, actually, it's his butt plug. I'm sorry. That's what it says.
Tomato.
And I guarantee you're going to have lead poisoning.
Oh, how clever. How clever.
It's so funny with his joking.
Look, guys, it's time that we as Americans, we as Christians, we got to start carrying guns.
We as Christians got to start carrying, because before Jesus had invented the very concept of kinetic energy and how to harness it with gunpowder, which would later come from China, which they didn't know was a place yet.
Yeah. Because we got to protect our superheroes, our police officers. If you agree with me, take a moment, share, like.
Nobody agrees with you. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're the fucking dumbest human being that's ever owned a camera.
I don't even know how this guy passed his concealed carry test to shooting thing.
Yes, you do. That thing is ridiculous.
But this is the kind of guy whose fucking eyes are so fat you could blind him with dental floss. You know what I mean? Like, this is a fucking guy. This is a guy who looks like a fucking human Shar-Pei.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's you're like, wait, is there eyes in there?
Yep.
I can't really tell. Like, your forehead is so fat, I can't actually tell if there's eyes in there.
Is he Asian or is it Sunny?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This guy is such a twat, though. This is exactly, though, the type of mentality, though, I think that a lot of people that are concealed carry have. At least we
ran into it.
You know, it was like a third of the class was about that.
They're hoping for an opportunity.
They're waiting. They're excited
to use a gun on another
They're
human
excited
being
for that,
right?
And I wonder at what level is it going to be that, you know? I mean, I think he said in there, if you shoot him, I'll shoot you. But what level? You know, where are you going to escalate the violence up to gun if they don't have a gun? When exactly does that happen?
But you know, that's the thing, though, right? It's because he sets what he does is he sets an impossible bar.
He sets an impossible scenario,
right? And then he gets to say, like, you know, it's like, well, if you shoot the president, I'll shoot you. Okay, well, the likelihood of you being around on the day somebody shoots at the president is fucking nil. The day that I'm around, you know how many times I've seen people shoot at the cops? Never times.
Yeah, never.
That's how many times. Yeah. Never times.
Doesn't happen.
It's not a thing that I've ever seen.
Very often.
You know, I could very well make the statement like, you know what I'll do if I see you shoot at the cops? I'll grow wings and fly, and I'll fly up to the moon. I'll pick up the moon, and I'll throw the moon at you. Like, okay,
you could say
probably not going to do it,
because
right?
It's never going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your prerequisites are ridiculous, and that's why, like, when I think about the problem of people just walking around in this country with guns, one of the problems that guns make weak men feel big. They make small men feel large. This is a small man. I mean, not physically. He's clearly fucking covered in fucking gordita juice.
Yeah, this is a guy who greases up the sides of his doors to slide into his fucking front seat.
Want to contact the guys? Go to dissonancepod.com to get links to their Google+, Facebook, and Twitter accounts. If you want to contact them directly, send an email to dissonance.podcast@gmail.com. Or you can call and leave a message at 740-74-DOUBT. That's 740-743-6828. Do you want to support the show? Go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/dissonancepod. Or click the link on the podcast homepage, and you can donate to the production of Cognitive Dissonance on a per-episode basis. If you can't spare any money, take a second to give us a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher, or spread the word about the show. We want to send a big, heartfelt glory hole to all the patrons and people who rate us. You fucking rock.
This story comes from Right Wing Watch. Mychal Massie, Black Lives Matter, worse than the KKK.
I just want to apologize ahead of time. I tried to listen. I'm not even kidding. I didn't get through all this because this guy is so fucking boring to listen to. I have no idea how far this clip is going to go. I don't even know if this is going to make it to the show. This guy is so boring.
He's that bad.
It's pretty boring. So here we go. This is fucking Massie on True News.
And these dark forces, these evil forces have
wait a minute.
Why they got to be dark forces?
What's up with that, bro?
Man.
Huh.
He's racist.
Sounds like a racist already.
I think he's black.
gathered these lies and perpetuated a violence on America, perpetuated loss of life and destruction of property, and the highest law enforcement officer in the land, Loretta Lynch, tells them that they will be that.
Oh, for fucking spit it out! Holy shit! He's not so much boring as he is fucking illiterate. Holy shit! Fucking make a point. Use all your words, string them together in the order. Think about the point you're trying to make and make the fucking point. Jesus.
It's really hard to listen to.
He's super slow. It's like
really hard to listen to.
Obladi, life goes on. Are you kidding me? Bust my table.
They have a right to peacefully protest, and that they should be encouraged because they are supported. We support you. Well, who is the we? Well, obviously, it's Loretta Lynch, the Justice Department, and the Oval Office. Those are the things that I think we should be looking at. The fact that we have to be concerned about one city in the United States of America being overrun by this type of barbarism.
What city's been overrun?
I don't know. Has the city been overrun?
I'm trying to think of what city. Is he talking about Baton Rouge?
Did they sack a city?
Yeah, right. What city's been overrun by barbarism?
Did Vikings pull up?
You just wake up in the morning. It's like, oh, they're pillaging again. Who's they? I don't know. The people that live here. Why would they
do that?
Doesn't really work.
Is one city too many?
Yeah, if it fucking happened, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, if there was a city that was overrun by barbarism, I would be like, well, that fucking sucks. Look at all that barbarism.
We need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Send in the National Guard.
That's way more barbarism than we were thinking about earlier.
Remember, Massie, is BLM a peaceful organization or is it a violent revolutionary group?
Well, it's a violent revolutionary group. It's
a softball question. Punk out of the park. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that question.
Really well done. It's hard-hitting journalism that you're posing here, but
I think, and I've said this, I think that Black Lives Matter are worse than the KKK.
There's a website, blacklivesmatter.com. Okay, and now this is what they list as their list of demands.
Is that on the darknet?
Yes, I think so.
You didn't even smile.
It's not funny. That's why. So
okay, you just fake it like women.
No, I can't. All right, so this is from blacklivesmatter.com. I'm just going to read some of these. This is we affirm that all Black Lives Matter, and this is their guiding principles. We are committed to acknowledging and respecting and celebrating differences and commonalities. That sounds like a terrorist organization.
Man.
We are committed to collectively, lovingly, and courageously working vigorously for freedom and justice for Black people and, by extension, for all people. As we forge our path,
divisive.
We intentionally build and nurture a beloved community that is bonded together through beautiful struggle that is restorative, not depleting. God, these fucking racists.
God,
we are unapologetically Black in our positioning. Fucking racist. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need not qualify our position. To love and desire freedom and injustice for ourselves is a necessary prerequisite for wanting the same for others. Fucking Jesus Christ.
This is
Just
aggressive,
put your
man.
fucking white hats on. We see ourselves as part of a global Black family, and we are aware of different ways we are impacted or privileged as Black folk who exist in different parts of the world. God, I can't. I'm going to keep reading this, but I'm disgusted. Disgusted. We are committed to embracing and making space for trans brothers and sisters to participate and lead. Classists.
glasses.
We are committed.
I don't even know how is that even relevant.
It's not relevant
That's
at all.
best.
I'm just picking things
That's
out at this
awesome.
point. We are committed to being self-reflexive and doing work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Jesus, can you just make like one demand? You people are fucking, I can't believe the privilege that you're, with all
Jesus.
these demands.
The
I cannot
privilege.
believe it.
The privilege.
We are guided by the fact all black lives, regardless of actual perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status or location, communists. We are committed to disrupting the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that are that collectively care for one another and especially our children to a degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We are committed to practicing empathy. We engage comrades. See, comrades?
Oh, there you go.
Comrades.
It's Marxist.
Fucking get out your sickle. We engage comrades with the intent to learn and connect with their contexts. We are committed to making our spaces family friendly and family fucking friendly. Are you fucking kidding me? There's 3 more. We are committed to embodying and practicing justice, liberation, and peace.
I'll tell you what they're not committed to,
Our
concision.
engagement with another. We are committed to fostering a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. Oh, look at me, I could say big words. Rather than believe in all the world are heterosexual unless or they disclose otherwise. And finally, we are committed to fostering an intergenerational and communal, huh, guys?
Oh, my God,
and
you fucking hippies.
Communal network free from ageism. We believe that people, regardless of age, shows up with capacity to lead and learn. So...
monsters. That is monstrous.
This is the fucking worst thing that's ever happened in the United States.
You know what? If that were to come true, things would be so much better. just fucking a lot actually better.
I wonder,
so objectively
I wonder
better.
if the KKK has anything on there that says we're committed to.
Let's look and see out of curiosity.
What is your number one goal? We want to stop white genocide. It seems absurd to some people. They look around and they don't see the masses of white bodies floating down the river as one might see the victims of Rwandan genocide of recent years. They don't turn on the evening news and see the bodies of massacred white people laid out in the field or on the street. They think white genocide is a joke or some crazy idea we have come up with. Maybe because you just came up with it.
It's a crazy idea.
Then they define genocide and why even bother.
I love it, dude.
And then they're talking about a lot about genocide and how genocide is
not good,
a thing that's happening,
and not good, not preferred. Like are they? Hold on a minute, just so I understand. Are they pro or con genocide?
So why do you think you're all so superior to everyone else?
Is that on their FAQ?
It is on their question. There's a question. Answer. We don't care who is superior and who isn't. They're not saying they aren't.
I know, right?
Like they don't come out and say.
Clearly, some people are.
Exactly. Clearly,
we don't care who they are.
We're not.
But it's us.
Telling. God made us all. We simply believe that the United States of America was founded as a white Christian nation,
which is why we imported black people into it.
Based this belief on the many writings of our founding fathers.
What were they said like Whiterson? Like
they did. They said that right in there. I think. We think it would be terrible if white Christians ceased to exist, and we are working.
Wait, how would that even happen?
I don't know.
Where's the last one?
I know how it would happen. White genocide.
White genocide.
And then it says, cease to exist, and we are working to preserve and promote their interests. We feel the concepts of Christianity benefit all people, regardless of color, except for the black people that we want to oppress, right?
And I've said this. I think that Black Lives Matter are worse than the KKK.
Well, and you're a fucking idiot.
Well, I the thing is like looking at their 2 about pages, I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, right.
At least from the things that they promote, right? And I want to talk a little bit about this for a second because many people seem to think that because someone shot somebody and said they did it because they didn't like that black people were dying, right? That's what they said that the guy said, right? The police officer said this guy said that he did it because of this. And he did it during a protest, specifically protest for that. They're saying that violence is indicative of that entire community, right? Like they're blaming that bit of violence on the entire community of Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter had on their page, we are committed to shooting white police officers,
then that would be egregious.
Then that would be absolutely egregious. And I would look at that and say, fucking, of course, yeah, that's an awful organization. That's like ISIS then, if they said that. They're like ISIS. You're like, okay, you're an idiot group. Who cares? But I just read all their fucking we committed to, and not a single, I want to fucking kill police officers. They're all what they're committed to, and what happens by fringe members who aren't even following their doctrine, right? Like, so when we talk about like Muslims and we talk about like fucking like, we talk about like crazy Christians and we talk about all these people and we say, you know, the reason why we're blaming all this on all Muslims is because their doctrine says, yes, you should fucking kill people, right? Right. Reason, you know, when Christians kill a bunch of people or whatever, and they fucking, you know, shoot up a fucking abortion clinic, you look and you say, okay, well, there's a backing for that, right? There's something in there. All these people believe something. And then you can throw around the no true Scotsman fucking thing. You can do that then. But when you look and you read their fucking demands and they're nothing like violent at all, they're fucking completely anti-violent. Right. And you say, okay, well, I read all the demands, but I still want to fucking lump these violent people in there because it makes me less nervous about your group.
It's like the violent people they don't even have to come out and disinherit themselves from these assholes, because all you have to do is like go to the website, read what you're about. Fucking that dude did a thing that's totally fucking separate than the thing you're about.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no confusion. It's not a fucking 2,000-year-old book that's fucking 1,000 pages long.
Yeah. And it's
a web page. It took like a minute.
And we're not all dipping from this same thing, right? It's like, if you're going to say they're dipping all from the same fucking like thuggish attitude where they fucking want to hurt a bunch of people, check it. Go look at it. Fucking look at the website. Now, are they doing stuff that you know, that they could be arrested for? Absolutely, man. When they fucking block off interstates and shit, if they get arrested for that, they get arrested for that. Right. It's against the fucking law. The problem is that I think people are just really nervous about protests in general. And one of the things that, you know, like you look back at the old-timey protests, you know, there's sit-ins at fucking lunch counters, there's fucking sit-ins all over the place. There had to be the same language for these same things back then. I'm
certain that there was, man. I'm fucking certain of it.
I believe them to be they're treated by this administration with the same kind of care, coddling, and warmness
as any other citizen.
Huh.
They're being treated like white people.
That the Obama administration shows toward the Islamic terrorists.
No, you're an idiot.
God,
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Does he drone strike Black Lives Matter? No, let's not be ridiculous. We only drone strike civilians. I mean, let's not be stupid.
And people say, well, how can you say they're worse than the KKK? Well, they're worse than the KKK because the KKK did not have a forum in all of the mainstream newspapers and media outlets to spew their hatred.
For like dozens of years, they totally did.
Yeah. This is a guy who's selectively remembering history.
What are you, like you are fucking history retard? Like, hey, David Barton's calling. He wants his fucking revisionist history
He wants
back.
all the revisions you've made to that book.
Are you kidding me?
But Black Lives Matter is given that forum. Black Lives Matter and their adherents are given a platform and legitimized to spew forth hatred under the guise that
that Black lives actually matter.
Blacks have it so bad in America.
Oh, what? Did he just say that out loud?
He did.
That's fucking amazing. There's a bunch of people, though, that think that. There's so many people that are like, oh, man, here I am. I'm like super white, bro, but I don't think black people have it bad at all.
Yeah, call me from the west side.
Yeah, no kidding. Then move over there. It's cheap to live there.
Yeah, right. Like when we were at I just want to point back. Like when we were at the concealed carry, the guy's like, "Who wants to go to Inglewood now?" Like, and everybody's like, "Well, let's not go to Inglewood." Like we're talking about people that now have guns on their hips. Like nobody's like, "I'll go to Inglewood."
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking ain't nobody going to Inglewood on purpose.
It's
nobody.
It's so funny that you look at that and you think, and they say that shit. They're just like they just selectively forget, and then they think like, oh well, they just have it equal to us. They're good. They're totally fine.
Yeah,
well,
it's exactly the same thing.
You have fucking blinders on, man. You're not paying attention.
The idea that the black experience and the white experience in America are even remotely analogous to one another is assholery.
That's fucking. It really is.
It's assholery.
I won't even deal with that shit.
Right.
So that makes them worse. And with respect to my comparison to them and the Islamic terrorists, when's the last time CARE came out and just denounce Islamic terrorism?
They've done it like a fucking dozen times and nobody's listening. Fucking, I would stop doing it too at some point. I'd be like, nobody cares.
You guys, nobody cares.
Nobody cares what I say, right? It's like, I wish you wouldn't do that. Oh, I did it anyway. Well, fucking, why am I going to keep saying it? Like, it's not affecting anything.
They give left-handed
Come on, spit it out, son.
What's he gonna say? Left-handed hand jobs? Is that what he's gonna say?
Call that the stranger.
Condemnation, but at the same time, CARE itself has been associated as a terrorist group, a terrorist sponsoring group. And it's the same with Black Lives Matter. When you have groups that are advocating for destruction, acrimony, and violence against other Americans, whether they be foreign or domestic, those are terrorist groups. And that is what Black Lives Matter is.
I just read all of their fucking About Us and not a single bit of violence on there. Not a bit of violence.
For it. Yeah.
Okay.
The White House and the Justice Department has an obligation to do everything in the power of the government to take this group down.
Take a group of people down that want to peaceably assemble?
Yeah.
They have a literal right to that. They have an actual constitutional right to assemble.
I think you're missing the fact that they're black.
I guess I didn't consider that.
I think that's something you're overlooking.
Do they have a 3/5 right to that?
Yeah, when they create their character, they get to pick 3 of 5 rights. And a lot of them didn't pick the right to assemble. That was one of them that they skipped.
It's amazing. They got to rebuild.
And they not only are they not doing that, but they are, as I said, Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, is telling them, we support you in your right to protest.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't even know how to say this in a different way. They have a right to protest. Like, it's that you can't not give them that and still be in America.
I seriously, like, it's so funny that this is what he's coming, that they just, like, there they are. They're just protesting.
They won't, just shut up and go away.
They just won't go back to the back of the bus.
Well, when have these people gathered peaceably?
We gather peaceably all the time.
All over the fucking country, all the time, dude.
Just fucking constantly gathering peaceably.
And we know that they're calling for people to go to Cleveland for the Republican convention and carry guns.
Well, there's 2 different amendments here.
Which could be their right. If they are rightfully allowed to carry a gun in Cleveland, then it's their right to do it. Don't you guys like that right? Isn't that the thing you guys fucking masturbate to every night? Aren't you guys like, fucking Second Amendment? Oh, I love it. I love the Second Amendment. I love it when it spreads. It's fucking Second Amendment. Like, fucking give me a fucking break. These guys are fucking ejaculating all over that fucking thing. It's only okay if you can have the guns?
Yes, that's
Jesus.
Exactly. They only want white people to have the guns.
Lord.
These are the guys who are like fucking. They've got a fucking AR-15 fucking massaging their prostate at all times, fucking rubbing its fucking muzzle up against their fucking organs.
Thing is, though, the thing about my prostate is that it is a gas eject.
It is large.
It's a gas eject. That's for sure.
I'll tell you what. It doesn't have a silencer on that thing.
It's funny. We talked when this previous episode, we talked about that concealed carry class. And one thing we skipped over is and we talked briefly about it, but the amount of money that it takes to get a concealed carry permit in Illinois is it's extravagant. It's extravagant. Not only do you have to have a handgun,
so much money,
which is an expensive item, right? When I bought a shotgun, I could have bought a shotgun for a couple $100. Right. You can buy a shitty fucking handgun for that much, but most of the concealed carry handguns, they start around $500. I mean, they're not going to get. You're not going to get any cheaper than that if you want to carry something around, and you got to conceal it in Illinois. So you have a concealed carry gun that probably runs you between, let's say, $300 and $800
on the slow end.
You can get that fucking Joshua Farron Ramstein's fucking one that's like he's got that fucking like fucking cow killer or whatever the fuck he's got. You can get that one. That's probably a fucking couple grand, I'm sure. I don't know. Don't send me in. I don't care. I don't care how much it is. I don't care. It looks like a fucking shitty gun. I wouldn't want to own it anyway. It's all fucking plastic. I don't fucking want to own a plastic gun. Anyway, this Tom's eyes are down. Anyway,
I got a plastic gun.
I know you totally do. The amount of money you spend on that, then the amount of money you have to spend just to take the classes, because the classes are required by law. So it's not like you can just fucking get a book and take a test and then do a thing. Like that doesn't exist. So I can't just go to that. I have to pay a person for this.
You can't test out.
I can't just test out of it. Right. So I have to take a certain amount of classes. Then I have to pay for the licensing itself, and I have to pay for the fingerprinting process. Then I have to pay for like the background check. There's all this shit you have to pay for.
That guy just kept sending us to the ATM.
He really did. He really did.
He showed up with a few $100s. He's like,
yeah,
go back to the ATM and get a few $100 more. And then later it's like, and you'll need several hundred more.
You'll need a lot more. So it's you're in it at least, I think, bottom dollar, if you inherit a gun, you're probably in it for about $700.
Oh, I think on the low end.
Bottom dollar. Yeah. If you got a gun for free.
Sure.
You could get in there. You
like
could
off
probably,
a black person.
Could probably
like if you just...
Or if you bought like from a straw purchase or something.
Like a black gun.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's terrible.
The amount of money that it costs is prohibitive for anybody who's not like a middle class citizen. Like, right. I can't imagine, like, you'd have to save up. I'm just looking back at just my life when I was first married, right? I didn't have a pot to piss in when I was first married.
Sure.
I look back at like how check to check we were, how, we lived, every month was a struggle. It would take me easily a year to save up that kind of money to actively do the thing that I just did recently. It would have taken me a year to get that kind of money up. And I wasn't like a poor guy either. I was living in a relatively nice neighborhood. I was,
sure.
I wasn't poor. And I look at that and I think, how many people are you self-selecting out of this process just from the amount of currency you have to go, right? These people don't want poor people to have guns. They don't want the poor to have guns. They want to fucking arm everybody else. That's what this is for. This isn't, at least in our state. I don't know. Right. I don't know how cost prohibitive it is in other states, but man, it's fucking expensive here. They are fucking selecting out a lot of people in the state, and especially a lot of people in Chicago that could not afford this.
Which is why our class was almost all white people.
Sure. So when I hear this shit, like he's talking about, they're going to go there, they're going to go to the RNC and they're going to carry guns and stuff. It's like, well, fucking the poor people aren't.
Yeah, right.
If they, unless it's an open carry state.
Yeah, and maybe Ohio is open carry. But the thing is, like, like you said, like these guys are constantly fucking jerking off onto the flag about the Second Amendment. Like, I fucking love it so much. Yeah. All over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
They fucking love that shit unless it's people they don't like.
Yeah, unless it's people that
everybody
make
should
them
have
nervous.
a gun. Right. Yeah. Everybody should have a gun. And what they really mean is I should have a gun and people that are poor shouldn't have guns.
Yeah.
So that's an alchemy in and of itself.
It's an alchemy?
It's an alchemy in and of itself.
That's an alchemy.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, that's an alchemy in and of, like, that's turning lead into gold. In and of itself.
For violence and bloodshed.
It's an alchemy for violence. Mm. You mean catalyst. You mean catalyst. You mean catalyst. You stupid illiterate motherfucker. You mean catalyst. Catalyst.
In simple terms, there is a predator race which take a reptilian form. They're feeding off humanity. They've turned humanity into a slave race. They demand human sacrifice. That's where Satanism comes in. They feed off human energy, particularly feed off the energy of children.
Say what? What? Why what?
What a load of shit. I don't know what all that means. I just thought I might use it someday.
So, Tom, we read this week the second half of chapter 7. So
yes, we did.
7B.
7B, I like
I have a quiz. You have a quiz.
I have a quiz.
And then we also have specifically a reading, but I also have the
summary?
The summary too.
Okay.
So why don't I start with my quiz? It's short. It's only 3 questions. Druids are...
Oh, this is going to be great.
A, not more than 25 inches tall. B, able to cast stone skin once a day. C, are a mixture of reptile bloodline, fourth dimension overlord, and satanic Catholics that are somehow pagans. Or D, magnetic.
Ooh, that's hard because it could be C and D, but I'll go with just C.
It's D.
Oh, they're magnetic.
They're just magnetic.
Magnetic druids.
The Illuminatrix is...
This is great. Oh, my God. The Illuminatrix.
A, the brand of flashlight Trinity uses in the first movie.
Illuminatrix.
B, an ancient manuscript technique where the handwritten text is supplemented with a series of ones and zeros. D, Diana the Lightbringer. I'm sorry. C, Diana the Lightbringer. Or D, someone with a sexual fetish for spotlights.
Oh, I like it. I wish it was not, but it is C.
It is C. And... reptile people fled France for Scotland because A, freedom! B, lizard legs look amazing in a plaid dress. C, many reptiles have inflatable throat, which helps with playing the bagpipes. D, if it's not Scottish, it's crap. Or E, all the other super secret lizards already had gentrified Scotland.
It's E. Oh, it's the gentrification.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's terrible.
Yeah. All right. So, Tom.
All right, here we go. You ready? This one's going to be a little tough. David Icke believes there were originally 13 zodiac signs. He believes this because of what reasons? A, he's a fucking idiot.
Can we stop there?
B, an old book has 13 poems in it.
Mm-hmm.
C, Diana crashed her car into the 13th pillar. Or D, all of the above.
D, all of the above.
You got that
now,
one.
hold on a second now.
Yeah.
So I saw that there was poems about the sign of the zodiac, and I found 12 haikus about the signs of the zodiac.
Well, we must hear them.
This is the dawning, the age of Aquarius. Love will steer the stars.
I like that one.
Pisces are fish, right? A pair of 69ing trout. Don't fish lay eggs? Aries sign is lame. You get to be a ram man. Break things with your face.
And my axe.
Gora Spanish guy.
Gora Spanish
Oh,
guy.
the other Taurus. Cool, I'll borrow Dad's car. Every other sign gets to be some animal. You just get to use.
I like this.
Either I am a crab or a terminal disease. Both are persistent. Finally, a beast worth actually being Cecil the Lion.
Nice.
Let's immortalize my fucking virginity. Thanks, Purity Ball.
This is great.
I like that our ancestors gave up on creatures to include a scale. Evolution sucks. There's a lobster spider bee. That's fucking weird, bro. Lower half of the horse. All right. Get to run fast and impress the girls. A half goat, half fish. For those of you that enjoy rubbery salmon. So those are the 13 poems that I
liked it.
Uncovered.
I liked it.
So,
it's very well done.
yeah.
It's very well done. Cecil, I got a question for you, buddy.
13 haikus is a lot. I'm
It
just
is
saying,
a lot of
that's a
haikus.
lot in a week.
That's a lot of work.
I'm telling you what, I'm going to need an extra week for a refractory period on these. I'm not going to come.
You need a lot more than a week.
When you're my age.
I know, right?
Sonny.
Like, you need a lot more than a week with fucking chemical assistance.
I'm taking that HGH,
You got
baby.
fucking Viagra and a Pez dispenser.
Tiny little penis from it. Anyway, that's not from the HGH.
Oh,
that's
it's not.
genetics.
That's just genetics.
Yeah.
It's just bad luck of the draw. I got the same luck. Cecil, what is the bond that connects earth, fire, water, and air?
Oh, God.
A funky beat. B, the last airbender.
All right, that's fair.
C, dryness, moisture, heat, or cold, of which each element has two properties, but one of them has it like a super duper amount of that one. So if you combine them and then they both have that one, then you could turn lead into gold with the Philosopher's Stone, which is actually a powder.
Okay. Yeah, it's telekinetic gold or whatever it was.
D, synonyms for the same fucking word as the word you are connecting to the other word.
C.
It's C.
It is C.
See, so when did the Priory of Sion leak copies of the two Bijou parchments? A, in 1967, or at least in the 1960s. B, just after a Full House marathon.
Oh, that's a good. I like
C,
that.
during his refractory period.
It's A.
It's A. He just says that. He's like,
know.
in 1967, or at least in the 1960s. It's like so specific and then general. It's so odd. See, Winston Churchill was A, a Satanist, B, a potato chip, C, a druid, or D, ANC.
ANC.
He was a Satanist
He was
druid.
a Satanist druid, pagan.
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't know how that works.
And finally,
finally,
why should all the names and places and dates that Ike vomit lists at you not be misconstrued as a coincidence? A, because if everything is connected, then the connections between everything must be connected. Connections. B, conjunction junction. What's your function? C, the vibrational frequencies of symbols transmute the energy fields around certain symbols and places, causing the Babylonian Brotherhood to use their sacred geometry to harness the elements into powerful symbolic forms such as Voltron. Or D,
Voltron. I love that all that works its way to Voltron. That's why I love this show. This is it. This is it. This is the fucking pinnacle. This is our best stuff.
D, every split second has a different vibration as the Earth's magnetic field is subtly changed by the sun and the movement of the planets, and every number and combination of numbers carries their own vibrational signature.
It's some of them. It's definitely D. I don't know. There could be a couple of the others too.
God, it's D.
All right.
That's it.
So here's
you did very well on your quiz.
Here's my beginning. It's
the summary.
The summary. People, especially Visigoths, built chateaus on ancient Templar academy sites because magnetism of planets and outer space change our vibratory signature on very precise dates. Tons of people did reptile stuff. These people include, but are not limited to, Leonardo da Vinci, Sandro Botticelli, Isaac Newton, Victor Hugo, Claude Debussy, Henry Kissinger, Aleister Crowley, Richard Wagner, and Hitler. The outer space, fourth dimensional lizard DNA is only transferred through women, and eventually all French lizards went to live in Scotland because reptiles like colder, wetter climes. So we're looking at chapter 8. Next time, we're going to try to read the whole thing. We'll see how far we get.
Please send me a text message in the middle of the week called "Let's only read half of it."
Brutal.
That's my favorite text message.
It's fucking brutal, bro. That's all I'm saying. My God. And we are starting to firm up dates. So we're hopefully going to have Stuart from Exposing Pseudo-Astronomy on for one of the chapters coming up soon.
Indeed.
And if we do have a guest in the future, one of the people that we, one of the usual suspects, maybe we'll see if they want to join us too. So we want to start by saying thank you so much for the groundswell support. I know a lot of you guys are here because we just posted the Alex Jones Show. That is a patron-only show that's available through Patreon. You can find the Alex Jones Show and all of other patron stuff that we've done on the patron website. And then you can get to that if you go to dissonancepod.com. You can, at the very top of the page, it says become a patron. You can become a patron of the show, and you'll have access to all the stuff that we've put together for as little as $1 a show. And we're very happy that so many people have gone out of their way to join on as patrons, especially in very recently. I have a ton of these to read off. And I just want to thank all of you guys for being patrons and for helping. Currently, we stand, I think we're about maybe $150 away at this point from getting a personal assistant. And that would really help the show out a lot. It would change a lot. It would certainly help the interaction we have with a lot of the people. get answers to people because people have answers. They want answers to questions about merchandise, about where stuff is, things like that. You'd be able to get answers to questions a lot. We'd be able to post a lot of stuff. We'd be able to provide a lot more. There'd be a lot more guests on the show. Everything would just, I think the show would improve greatly if that were to happen. So,
well, I can't decline.
We would have basically 2 people working on the show.
We'd double the amount of people working on the show.
It would be amazing. It would
That's
be something
outstanding.
else.
Can I sleep with our assistant?
We're getting a guy, so sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to thank all of our new patrons. Reptile Lives Matter.
That's great.
Laura, Suzanne, Victor, Tiglath, I guess. I have no idea. Tiglath? Sure. Peter, Chris, Susan, Joseph, Patrick, Jared, Ben, Tony Stark, Donnie, Cameron, Pascal's Rager.
I like that.
Will, sup, fool. Frickin' Skater, Mark, from the Unicorns on Noah's Ark. Keith, Guy, Schizo Mac, Stefan, John, Tomble, Adrian, Jeff, Richard, Biscuits of Glory, Kurt, Indiana resident, Shu, Phil, Mark, Harry Lizard Lord, Paul, Scott, the 420 Club, John, Tim, George, Nathan, Chris, Helga, Jason, Sith Lord Sexy Pants, Jim, Bruce, Derek, Brad, Jen, Brian, Eric, Larry, Mark, Brent, Amy, David, Kevin, Dustin, Devin, Adam, Corey, Sitpex, Eric, Brett, Berto Pops, Shane, Janet, Jason, and Lane. Thank you all so very much for your generous donations. We really do appreciate it. A very short time. We should hopefully have enough to hire an assistant. And we're also talking at this point now, because of the groundswell of support that we've gotten, we're actually talking about starting to do more patron-only stuff. We're thinking about maybe doing like one every other month or something like that. So we're considering it. If you have any feedback on that and you're a patron, you want to talk about it, post to the patron page, and we can talk, or send us a message on Patreon, and we can get your feedback on that.
We also got a PayPal donation from Matthew. Matthew, thanks so much for your PayPal donation. Remember, you can go to dissonancepod.com, click on donate, and donate to the show that way as well.
So we got a clip from Elvis, and I want to play this clip from Elvis. It's long, but he says you can't compress the message from Alex Jones. So Elvis, thank you. This is Mix Mash Alex by Elvis.
This is great.
Drums to the deep. 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 Submit to it with pleasure. Sheep will be ruled by wolves. Beg on your knees to be slaves. While these fat, weak cowards sit up there on television and tell you they're gonna break your bank and bring you under their filthy control and put you in their government housing pens to run your life and bring you down and prison your children. You submit to it with pleasure. Drums to the deep. Drums to the deep. Drums to the deep.
That's just fucking straight perfection.
Amazing.
I would buy that album.
Thank you so much. We got a bunch of messages. We're still making people cringe with the money thing. And I want to read this email in its entirety because I think this guy gets it. This is from John in California. Guys, you really fucked up by engaging the people who wrote you about banks creating money. You can expect an army of armchair economists that will never, ever leave you alone because you are arguing two separate points, and it may be impossible to get them to realize that. They won't back down. This man knows his shit. That's all I'm saying. You are probably hearing that banks create money via the money multiplier effect because banks don't hold every deposit in their vaults. The bank holds 10% of deposit reserves by U.S. law, and the rest excess reserve is loaned out to other people who subsequently spend that money, which we assume ends up in another bank, not in a stock drawer somewhere, and the loop repeats itself again. The initial $100 deposit is loaned itself out again and again perfectly, will eventually create $900 in money in aggregate in the system. This is not what Ike is saying. Ike is saying that money doesn't exist in the first place. It's just electrons on a screen. He wants some form of specie, which is a dumb idea. And I had to look this. I think that's how you pronounce it. Specie, I guess, or specie. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But it's money in the form of coins rather than notes. I had never heard that phrase before. I had to look it up, which is a dumb idea. It's super dumb. And you guys are right to make fun of it. I'm going to go now and scream at my local car wash for not accepting Thai baht as a valid form of payment.
That's great. I love it.
And he gave us a thing on how banks create money. And a bunch of people have sent this in. And I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a disconnect. We're saying Ike isn't saying that. What Ike is saying is money doesn't mean anything. Not only does money not mean anything, but debt doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And what they're saying is no, they create money this way. And they do create money the way you said last time. This is true. They do create money the way in which you say through loaning of the federal rules. But this is also true too, that they don't have to have the same amount of money in. Sure. And that's how they create money through loans. And then there's all this other stuff there's other stuff that goes into it, stuff that we did not get into. But they are right. There is other ways to create money, but that's not what Ike is saying. Ike is not saying that that's a good.
No, Ike is saying that they just make it up.
They just make it up.
Cloth.
And it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
That's what he's saying, is that the debt doesn't mean anything, that it's just numbers on a screen. I read it many times. He clearly doesn't understand how money works. Got a message. This is from Wags, and Wags is reading a book on Audible called The Consultant by Bentley Little. And this is a clip from the book, and he wanted us to listen to it.
She took the whole thing. In her mouth, she took the whole damn thing. Jesus. In her mouth, she took the whole
what could they be
thing.
talking about?
In her mouth, she took the whole cock in her mouth.
Oh, she was eating chicken. Yeah, chicken. Yeah.
It's a small nugget.
Delicious. It's always a small nugget, my friend. We got a message. This is from Zach from Omaha, Nebraska. And Zach says, hey, guys, I was listening to your show.
They have the fucking internet in Nebraska now?
No. He's got a satellite phone. You were on your show and you were talking about Pokemon Go. And I wanted to let you know there is a Facebook group that came out of a conversation I was having with a good friend called the Federation of Atheist Poke Trainers, aka FAP. So if any of your listeners want to start fapping with us, we'd love to have them. So if anybody fucking has the unfortunate fucking luck to live in Omaha, Nebraska or near it and want to poke train with Zach, because he's probably the only sane person there, best of luck.
The idea of being in Nebraska makes my fucking skin itch.
Only thing that would be worthwhile in Nebraska is Pokemon Go.
Where would the fucking Pokestops be? Let's go to the cornfield. It's all cornfields. It's all there's only one fucking Pokemon. It's the corn goblin.
Every single one
is a corn goblin.
Every single Pokemon is called Malachi. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We're going to leave you, like we always do, with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and views expressed in this show are that of the hosts only. Our poorly formed and expressed notions do not represent those of our wives, employers, friends, families, or of the local dairy council.